Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I remain Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and this is not a video about EVE Online. Before anything else, first and foremost, I do want to say that this is not a video about EVE Online. If you're interested in my EVE Online content, hi, kitty. If you're here for my EVE Online content, I'd recommend checking out another video. This video is more about my real life and other non-EVE things. So if that ain't for you, check out the next video. Have a good one. But also, I want to say that this video is a response, or rather a follow-up to my previous video, Should I Quit EVE Online? That is linked down below. So if you have not yet watched that, you should probably go watch it first just to get caught up. Gosh, why do you need so much attention right now? So as I said, this is a follow-up to that video. And I wanted to make this as a way of kind of wrapping things up. When I made that video, my goal was to present the information about my past as forthrightly and honestly as possible. And the goal of this video is to kind of dig into things a little bit more and talk about it. Now, I have been accused of hiding some information from that previous video. This is not true. I know that my information is public if someone was willing to dig, and I know that putting out that video merely confirmed that I am who they say they were, and so that would be ridiculous. No, in fact, as I said, I was as forthright as I could be. I didn't sugarcoat it, I didn't go into too much detail, but I did give the necessary information. What I didn't do was share any information at all about her. And that was for her protection. Now, for those of you who wish to give actual information about her age or other things about her, I would ask you to kindly please stop doing that. Relatedly, I have been accused of deleting negative comments. This is actually quite the opposite of the truth. I've been going through there fairly regularly and approving comments that have been auto-moderated by YouTube because, let's be frank, some of them have a lot of language that are inappropriate for YouTube, which of course, granted, the topic was a little bit inappropriate for YouTube, so that makes sense. But what I did not approve was anything that gave away any information about her. And unfortunately, a lot of my detractors have decided that that angle is the angle that they're going to push. So I just wanted to nip that in the bud right now. Before we get any deeper, I wish to assure everyone on the top, I am not quitting EVE Online. Now, it was a very real possibility. I was terrified to make that previous video. I knew I needed to make it someday. You know, every day that I started streaming, every time I did all this, I knew that there would be a day where it could be all over. And I knew that that was eventually it would come to that, or at least it would come out. And I always wanted to present my video or my side of it before it ever got to that. But let me tell you, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm not saying this for sympathy or anything like that, but it's true. Those of you who have shown me support during this time, the outpouring of affection and positive statements and affirmation that what I'm doing is important to people was incredible. Obviously, I have to live with myself throughout all of this. And over the last 20 years, I've thought a lot about what am I doing and all that. And I feel like I have found some purpose here. And I've always just been really terrified that, like, if I invested into it, if I got too into it, one day it would all be over. And that always, I'll be honest with you, it weighed like an anchor on my content in the background. now that I can open up, I feel like that's a huge weight off my shoulders lifted. And I feel only more committed to making good content for you guys as long as you're willing to support me. So thank you all so much for that. And of course, you know, this has been financially hard. So if you want to support, there's always that. But one thing I do want to promise you is that, look, I know anytime I do anything besides EVE Online, whether it be Raid Shadow Legends or Pal World or Phasmophobia or whatever, not only is the interest way lower, which is kind of to be expected, but you know, people comment about it. And I know for a fact, and I've known this for years, that people that consume EVE Online content do not often are different than other consumers of streamers or anything like that, because a lot of people consume YouTubers or like EVE Online players content or insight into EVE Online, not because they're into games in general or into, you know, the streamer's personality. So what I promise you guys is that my main channel will now remain EVE Online only. And I will begin a second channel, which I think this video should be on, called Ashtarothi Decanted, where I can put anything of my non-EVE Online related stuff. So please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. I will probably be doing live streams on this channel as well. So follow it if you're interested in that kind of thing. But now my main channel will only ever be EVE Online stuff. That's the big thing that I can at least guarantee you guys. Connected with that, the main original video, should I quit EVE Online, I am going to unlist it. Not because I'm trying to hide it. Obviously, it's down below, and it's the first thing I pointed to here. But rather that I feel like it would be confusing and not necessarily go, since it was a momentary thing, you know, it doesn't need to stay as a lasting video that gets recommended by the YouTube algorithm. So that will be delisted, and we will begin moving forward. I'll be going live, and we will start doing EVE Online content again. And I look very much forward to it. There are a few details I do want to talk about as well. I want to be very clear. At no point here am I minimizing anything I did. Okay? What I did was dumb. It was a mistake. I made the wrong decision. And honestly, anybody who's in the comments defending that what I did wasn't so bad, I would recommend just giving those up. Now, there has been some accusations that I was the aggressor in the situation, and that is actually completely not true. Now, I am not saying this in a way to suggest that it was okay or anything like that. What I am saying is that I didn't her, okay? Not like aggressively, all right? That is a very clear distinction for me. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not trying to say what I did wasn't wrong, wasn't illegal, I didn't deserve punishment. That's all absolutely true. It was, and I did. What I'm trying to do is show you a case for why I should be allowed to move on. Another thing related to that is that people have been going around saying that once she was 18, I contacted her and she put a restraining order on me. This is also completely not true. Now, it is true that when she was 18, she contacted me and we got back in touch. Now, during this time, when she came to me, she apologized profusely for everything that had happened. And she figured that I had been horribly upset at her this entire time. That made me feel really bad. I assured her it wasn't, but she made me promise to not carry this burden and hate myself for it the way I had since it had happened. And I promised her I would. And that's why I don't. However, her mother, given the fact that I was still in the military and my stuff was under appeal, her mother was able to get the general to put a no contact order on me, even though her daughter was over 18, and threatened to take her college away until we stopped talking. And I didn't even bother. I haven't tried really to reach out since. She's free to reach out whenever. I do not believe I'm under any restraining orders whatsoever. So that's the truth of that. I don't necessarily want to go into too many details about these things. Honestly, mostly because when I go into details, it sounds like I'm defending myself. But either way, the reason why this is important to me is because it's one of those things that I can actually prove. One of the problems is that, or I can actually give proof for. One of the problems is that anything I've tried to do to argue my case has a risk of revealing more information about her or the situation. In fact, what I've already said was more than I already was planning to. Here's the thing about that. When that happened, when she got in contact with me and all that stuff, I was still under probation. And I was still going to a counseling mandatory that I had to go to as part of my probation for SOs. If that had been true, if what people had levied against me had actually happened, if I had contacted her against her will after she was 18, then I would have gone back to jail. I would have had my parole violated, and I would be back in jail for at least 2 to 4 years, or at least 2 years. So, no, that isn't how that went. In fact, I want to say, and again, just call it character witness. I don't know. But while I was in the facility, I eventually elevated to honor dorm. I received clemency twice because the general believed that my case was deserved it. I was let out on parole pretty early, graduated a SO training center thing, and my parole officer thought that I was fine enough that she let me off of parole at least 6 months early. All I can do is be here and be who I am. And if you don't like that, well, then I get it. And I'm sorry. In fact, I do want to say that I'm sorry to all of you. One of the hardest things about this is the idea of this reveal. And it's not even hard for me. Like, it's not that it's embarrassing or anything like that. It's seeing the pain on people's face, that moment that everyone has when they have to process what they still think about me. It's hard every time. So those of you who are still here, thank you. I owe you, and I'll be here for you. This is Ashrathi. I'll see you live. Signing off.